Good evening and welcome to the show that does to those in the news what Princess Diana did to James Hewitt, discusses them on television. Elsewhere in the news this week, as agreement is reached on a peace deal in the Balkans, Serb and Croat negotiators go on TV to cement their newfound friendship. As Buckingham Palace announces that the Queen Mother is back to full fitness, suspicions are aroused by her latest public appearance. And at the High Court in London, a man is charged with being found in possession of an offensive pair of ears. On Ian Hislop's team is a star of Men Behaving Badly who believes that the TV celebrity with the most sex appeal is Mariella Frostrup, which has somewhat upset Ian, who was hoping it might be him, Neil Morrissey. And with Paul Merton tonight, a female MP who pinched Harvey Proctor's seat, and there aren't many women who can say that, Theresa Gorman. So it's with no measure of surprise that we welcome round one, Ian and Neil.
Oh yeah, that's Madonna. No, it's, that's got to be the cad. Who's that?
Whore. No offence to anyone.
Camilla getting a piggyback right from a close relative. Was I wrong? Di and the interview on the telly and affair with Hewitt and all of that sort of stuff, am I right?
And there's our wonderful Queen Di, Queen of all our hearts. Her old man cheated on her.
She's a queen now.
Her boyfriend told her. she said she wanted to be Queen of our heart, didn't she? When you weren't watching the programme.
And that's the bit of her husband she was going for.
Do you mean to say that Diana's given an interview? When did this happen?
There was a man called Major Blewett.
Major
Hewitt. That's it, yeah. Hewitt. And that was Oliver Hoare, who she didn't make dirty phone calls to, apparently.
And who did?
Apparently it was some small boy. I'm not saying he didn't believe every word of that interview. She said there were 3 of us in the marriage, which shows that her maths hasn't changed much. Hewitt, Hoare, Gilby, Charles, Camilla.
Prince Charles' best friend MP Nicholas Soames described the princess's argument as toe-curling, absolute nonsense, paranoid and mentally unstable. He added, "I don't wish to become involved in the dispute." There's a theory that Princess Diana times her most dramatic acts to coincide with important dates on the calendar. She announced the Panorama interview on Charles' birthday. The programme was broadcast on the Queen's wedding anniversary, and if the reports are true, when she pulled James Hewitt's trousers down, she thought it was Christmas. As soon as the programme was over, there was a tremendous surge of power on the national grid. Apparently Buckingham Palace were doing a test run on the new electric chair. Paul and Theresa.
Brian McWhinney,
yes.
the chairman of the party.
Is this Paint a Pratt for Christmas?
This is Alan Duncan dancing backwards with his
down
mobile.
here, mate. Come down this way.
Orange
You better start
telephone.
running now. Oh, you got no hair. Don't worry, don't worry.
Paul Condon, who came on television to apologise.
Yeah, for the policeman not having any hair.
A group of asylum bill protesters, and then my colleague Alan Duncan running backwards looking as if he might be looking for an asylum. What do you think about
No, I
that?
think he was off to get some more paint.
Do you think so?
He's a colleague, is he, Alan Duncan?
No, I know, this is
Get
an
the top
advert.
coat.
This is
He's a colleague of yours, is he, Alan Duncan? So Ian said that, I just thought I'd repeat it.
Yeah.
Turn it into a catchphrase. People will be saying it all over the world.
They will.
Going in the shops. Colleague of yours, is he, Alan Duncan?
Dr. Mulwiney said the protesters know very little about this government if they think that we are likely to change our mind because of a few pots of paint. Pots of cash, on the other hand, very different matter. Mulwiney's assistant, Alan Duncan, he's a colleague of yours, is he?
It's catching on.
Yeah. He called 999 no fewer than 4 times, but the first 3 calls got misrouted in the telephone system. Still, a policeman did eventually turn up, but only after 2 deep pan pizzas and a strippogram. Ian and Neil.
That's Mr. Murdoch.
That's toilet roll. Wasn't it? Oh, it is toilet roll, yeah.
No, he's closed down one of his papers. And being a man of taste, he's closed down the best one. No, today was slightly not very right-wing, which is very odd for a Murdoch paper, so obviously it had to go.
Didn't someone offer a takeover bid and Murdoch turned it down?
There's a man called Mohammed Al-Fayed.
That's him, yes. Another famous Englishman.
At least Al-Fayed lives in the country, unlike Murdoch.
He lives in most of the rest of the world, doesn't he?
He owns most of it.
Yes. He's a colleague of yours, isn't he? No.
With its first edition, Today became the first ever national newspaper to print a colour photograph on its front page. The Queen, in a flesh-coloured hat, offset beautifully by her bright green face and purple hair. Today was put up for sale in 1987 and had to choose between 2 bidders, Rupert Murdoch and Robert Maxwell. In other words, between the devil and the deep blue sea. Paul and Theresa.
Oh,
Beatles, yes. Yes, that's
They're
not the
all
Beatles.
there, so it must be a long time ago, because one of them's dead. Is it one of them dead now?
I don't know.
I read in the paper that one of them is dead about 15 years ago.
Yes, he
A
was...
little less of that compassion, please.
He wouldn't
Well,
have
I've no
heard
idea what this is
Beatlemania.
about.
it. No, evidently.
An old Beatle fan found an old tape in an old attic with an old Beatles song on it, and somebody's recycled it, and everybody's going mad about it.
The Beatles have brought out a new record. Brilliant. What's it like? Is it any good?
But as Theresa said, there are only 3 of them, and this ghostly voice.
From the past.
That'll be John Lennon then, I guess.
Yeah.
Who's dead,
Yeah.
apparently.
15 years ago.
Really? Topical news?
New York.
Yes. Yes, don't forget you heard it here for the 137th time. Yes.
Is it any good?
Ringo said it was brilliant. He said it sounds just like them. So he's obviously forgotten that he was in it.
I think he was saying that in the context of listening to George and Paul harmonising with John's voice while he was in the control booth having done his drums. So he said it sounded just like them, was quite a plausible thing to say
Right.
at the time to the person he was sitting next to.
Right.
You see, so it's not actually him being thick or anything.
No.
It's like a plausible thing which you've taken out of context for the
Yes.
benefit of a rather weak joke.
Can you do Ringo as well as George?
Love to.
Here we go.
I can do him singing, what's it called? Only you're,
Get by
when
with a
you're
little help.
16, you're
Oh, right.
beautiful in your mind.
Right, let's have it.
You're 16. You're beautiful, and you're mine.
A bit too musically accurate to be Ringo, but
It's musically horrible if you got it in your left ear.
please.
Oh, don't do that Diana look.
Seemed to work
Someone
for
just
her.
eaten. What's got a head on one side the whole time? Jumped on by Will Carling.
It's the Fab Three, back again with a new single and an album of leftovers after Paul's bank balance slipped below the perilous 100 million mark. Clearly Linda's sausages not doing quite as well as hoped. A documentary series about the group is also being broadcast, each programme featuring a different year. Presenter Jules Holland said, "I talked to Ringo for a couple of hours about the year 1967. I think a couple of hours of 1967 would be all Ringo could remember." Which magical mystery tour brings us screaming to the end of round 1, and the news is that both teams have an equally fab 4. Time now for our teams to prepare to fall flat on their faces in the muddy puddle that is our caption competition. and we look forward to thoroughly enduring their efforts later on. So it's a slightly hostile welcome back now to our Spot the Illegality round, a montage of everyday activities for both teams. All they have to guess is which ones are contravening the law of the land. The land in question this week being Sweden. So what's illegal about this lot?
Are they dead as well?
Yeah, that's good.
Man shooting guns, dead elk, man drinking
Drinking out of a
booze
sock.
out of
It's got to be illegal. Oh, making...
Oh, it's Soames again.
Oh,
Is that how they do the lottery? The
yeah,
cows
there's a
that
lottery.
No, it's obviously illegal to shit on the number 65.
Don't use that word.
What, shit?
It's rude.
Oh.
This is a Tory being whipped. My male colleagues are very into that stuff.
Tell us something we don't know.
But you lost the whip, didn't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I've got it at home. You can have it back later.
So Sweden.
Spanking children's illegal.
Cowpat bingo is illegal.
No, that's actually it's cows pooing on the number 65 that's
Thank
illegal.
you.
If it's a bus, yes, that is illegal. Boxing's definitely illegal in Sweden.
Boxing, yeah.
Yeah.
So how,
And I
What
think
about
drinking on the
whiskey?
street.
What about drinking?
They don't like drinking in
Drinking in
Sweden.
the street.
Oh,
And they
don't
all get beer bellies, and then they go to get them massaged. That's what that was happening to that fellow.
right, do you think that's legal?
I don't know, but I think it's quite nice.
What, to do the massage?
Massaging is very relaxing. Have you ever been massaged?
Go on then.
This,
Is it Sarah Ferguson?
what did you say about cowpat bingo?
Well, cowpat bingo probably isn't illegal,
This
but
is-
then I'll say it's the children firing the guns.
When you're grown up, you can shoot animals, real
Yeah.
live ones.
Yeah. Well,
Like
shooting
horror.
dead ones isn't so much fun. takes the sport element out.
You have no evidence to say that elk was alive.
Well, it must have been
shot it.
alive once. It wasn't. It wasn't born dead, then grew.
They could have-
The three illegal activities were boxing, smacking children, and the popular game of cowpat bingo, in which farmers bet on where cows are going to defecate in a grid of numbered squares. A bit like celebrity squares, and with roughly the same number of turds.
A lot of this is disgusting, you know.
Yes, that's how we like it. Despite being lawful in Sweden, there are now fears that saunas may not be as healthy as previously thought. According to urologist Fernando Cruz, the heat in the sauna can drastically reduce the quantity of a man's sperm.
Thank God for that.
What's he doing in the sauna that they can count the number of sperm?
Slightly more disgusting, isn't it,
Yes,
Theresa?
it is
Sorry about that. Which criminal acts
Disgusting
means
of
this round
Westminster.
is now put away. And the state of play is that Ian and Neil are losing the will to live with 5, whilst Paul and Theresa have a vital 6. Well, if it isn't time for our odd one out round, then I've just introduced the wrong game. But fortunately it is. Paul, your 4 popular entertainers are John Redwood, Cilla Black, Barney Rubble, and Colin the Donkey.
I know the answer to this.
Oh, well, that's excellent, because that's sort of the
No,
idea
go
of
on,
the
now off you
game.
go. Go on.
But John Redwood's the only one from another planet.
And to think John Major called you a bastard.
There's nothing to what John Redwood will call me after this programme.
And he is a colleague of yours, isn't he?
Hey, what is Donkey wearing at the back there? What's that sort of thing going on there? What's
Napkins.
Well, nappy more than a
that?
nappy.
Nappy. A nappy. Is this because they don't want donkeys playing bingo?
No.
Well, has it got something to do with not wearing pants? Because Barney Rubble doesn't wear any underpants.
Yes.
Cilla Black. John Redwood doesn't wear them because he doesn't. And the donkey's the odd one out because it does.
That's the most pathetic answer.
Well, wait till it's your game.
Is it to do with the fact that this donkey is the only one not, because of his pants, to have shat on Blackpool Beach?
Are you suggesting that John Redwood...
Cilla Black.
No, it's that all of them have appeared at the MGM Cinema, Blackpool, with the exception of Colin the Donkey, who's only appeared on the beach, and what's more, in nappies in response to an EC hygiene directive. Councillor Diane Brown complained nappies sound like a daft idea. Anyway, what ointment would you use if the donkey suffered from nappy rash? And never mind the ointment you use, who'd apply it? John Redwood appeared at the MGM Blackpool during the Tory Party conference. He addressed the packed cinema with his views on the economic dangers of monetary union, but was ordered to sit down when it was time for Pocahontas to start.
So all these people have appeared at a cinema in Blackpool, that's the answer.
I can't believe he didn't get the point.
How would anyone get that right? Nobody would.
Well, they wouldn't, that's why we gave it to you. Theresa, your impossible question is...
Your impossible question?
Isn't he sweet?
He's gorgeous. These are they.
I was trying to mend the gulf between us.
No, there's no gulf.
Oh, I see.
It's a chasm.
Barings Bank is the first one. Jeffrey Archer's First Among Equals.
Oh, yes.
He's a colleague of yours.
Yes.
Red Star Parcels and John Major's cricket bat.
He's not a colleague, is he?
The first one is Barings, but they've gone broke. Jeffrey nearly went broke.
It's about
Something
a
going
pound.
bust.
What's about a pound?
The answer's about a pound.
Oh, right, I thought you were talking about Private Eye.
That's got to be the first commercial Angus has ever done for free. Barings was sold for a pound after it went bust. Jeffrey Archer sold the rights of his first book for a pound, accurately realising its worth. Red Star was sold for a pound under the government's privatisation scheme, and he's worth about a quid.
It's actually his cricket bat, not
Yeah, he
him.
must have sold it in an auction for threepence or something, but it's not a pound.
Exactly right. Well done, for 2 points. It's that all of them have been sold at some stage for £1, except John Major's bat, which failed to reach that price at a charity auction and was left unsold. The bat was actually worth quite a lot, but unfortunately he'd reduced the value by signing it. Neil, your mysterious selection includes the Pope,
Oh.
the Cern Abbas Giant, the Paris Obelisk, and Mr. Brewster.
Theresa, fingers in ears.
This is all about...
Oh, no.
Oi, do you mind? I said put your fingers in your ears.
just you
yes.
wait.
Well,
I
I think I know what you mean, Theresa. I've had HRT as well. I'm actually 65.
Well, I knew it, actually.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I'm starting to grow. Right. In stature... Mr. Brewster he was the advertising, the condom advertisement, wasn't he?
Is the
all
Pope
about-
the only one who's never worn a condom?
Well, you try and get one on the obelisk, mate. That's right.
Or is it the Chalk Man's the only one who advertises crinkle cut chips?
Three of these pictures relate, and I am able to say this because I used to teach biology. 3 of these pictures relate to male genitalia, but the Pope doesn't admit to having any.
Well, there's the Catholic vote
Yes,
secured.
It was biology and not religious education.
If you're a Pope, you have to be celibate.
You don't use them, it doesn't mean you don't have any.
I don't think I'm going to get a repeat performance.
We might go out Saturday if you're lucky.
Well, just you and Theresa.
No, Neil. He's well up for you, I'll tell you that. Look at that look he's given you, look.
He's told me.
His arm's gone, that's always a good sign.
He's told me he's 60.
The answer is that all of them, except the Pope, have at some time worn a condom. The CERN Abbas giant in Dorset had a condom painted on it by vandals. One peculiarity of the giant is that its penis has mysteriously grown in size by nearly 2.5 metres in recent years. No one can work out why this is, despite research by teams of attractive young archaeology students gently brushing along the side of it.
If it grows anymore, he'll knock his teeth out.
It's already taken out 3 of his ribs, isn't it?
This is disgusting.
Yes, it's okay. It gets worse. To mark World AIDS Day, the Paris obelisk had a special 22-metre condom placed over it. The condom gets its name from one Colonel Condom, who discovered that the penis was afforded some protection when covered by sheep's gut, although how he made that discovery is a matter for... And finally in this round, Ian, St Bartholomew, Henry VIII, a druid, and Colin the rabbit.
Is this a building question?
Might be.
St Bartholomew's founded a hospital. Henry VIII founded lots of things.
Why?
And the Druids founded Stonehenge. The rabbit obviously is listed.
Rabbit's the only one who's been to Hawaii.
Could this be to do with promiscuity?
Disemboweling.
Could this be to do with promiscuity?
It's always smut with you, isn't it?
Is St Bartholomew the only one who can't put together one of those wardrobes you get in MFI?
It is to do with historic buildings, which of course can be a problem, can't they, Theresa?
I don't recommend the historic buildings at all, definitely not.
No.
Because you can't sort of do DIY in them, can you?
That's quite
Get this
right.
old Tudor house and you can't knock it down.
That's right. Well, Henry VIII did lots of DIY on his buildings. It didn't used to be illegal until just recently.
I blame the government. What about you?
I blame... That's right, very good.
So all these sort of 66 alleged
Do you only bring Labour
breaches-
supporters to these do's by any chance?
I don't think you can sit there and blame them for being anti-government when you nearly brought it down. You voted against the Maastricht Bill, didn't you?
No, I abstained.
Oh, how brave.
I should warn you, Theresa,
don't
this is
need
roughly
all
around
this.
the time of the show that Ian
that right?
turns.
You're not married to Bob Geldof, are you?
The answer is, I'll tell you, that all of them lived in homes which are now looked after by the Department of National Heritage, with the exception of St Bartholomew. Bart's Hospital was actually closed down by Henry VIII in the 1540s, but he later changed his mind because of all the miserable people lying in the street offending every clean person passing by the way. Or at least that's how it was reported in The Guardian. The Department of National Heritage opens up Stonehenge just once a year to allow New Age travellers to reenact an ancient ceremony that's remained unchanged for years. As the sun comes up, they shag each other to the sound of Jimi Hendrix and then drive off in a van with no MOT. All of which is history, as is this round, and the current situation is that Ian and Neil are beginning to tie with 8, whilst Paul and Theresa are now in sight of the checkered flag with 9. So praise be to our final missing words round, the usual array of half-turned phrases. So to your marks, Charles Watt among the pilchards.
Passes out.
Doesn't look out of place. Keeps his head down.
Finds new friends. Charles happy. Happy, laughy, smiley, jokey.
It's sadly the opposite. It's
miserable.
loses his
not
rag,
crying.
is how they put it. Next, Queen Mum plans what?
Major
forever.
piss up.
To release Hippie Hippie Shake as Christmas single.
Is not the right. Well, walking, I'll give you one for. A wedding march. That's Prince Edward's wedding, apparently.
Man's wedding march.
She wants to march down the aisle. That's why she had the hip operation.
Can't they just find a church on a slope? Gliding. Put her on casters.
Next, what is not just for Christmas?
Tony Blair.
Is not just for Christmas.
No, you've got to look after him all
James
year.
A phone is, in fact, the answer we were after. Next, Scots could soon get their own what?
Rounding.
Assembly.
Rounding.
Yeah, you know, buy a round of
Dessert.
drinks. Scots.
That's just lost us another 1 million viewers, thank you. Powers is, in fact, the answer. And finally, Lord Mackay is just trying to pull what?
Lady Di.
I know Lady Olga Maitland because she went down to tick off Lord Mackay about his very useful bill. But Lord Mackay is now pulling it together again.
Quite too many words to fit into there.
What about that?
That's not right unless...
I think that is
back.
the most libellous thing anyone's said on this show. The Lord Chief Justice is trying to pull Lady Olga Maitland.
I said together
He's a wee
again.
free.
I said together again.
Right.
Did you?
A fast one, which is, in fact, the answer, which indefinite articles bring an end to tonight's ramblings, and the simple truth is that this week's buttheads are Ian and Neil with 8, while this week's eggheads are Paul and Theresa with 13. So, to our winners, a video of last week's panorama. To our losers, a video of every other week's panorama. But before we literally disappear, it's the final straw that is our caption competition. What do you think of for this?
Manufacturers warn that training shoes may be filled with helium.
Diana tries to avoid the paparazzi.
Is it flash flood kills human pyramid?
On which inverted note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Neil Morrissey, Paul Merton and Theresa Gorman, and I leave you with news that in London, sex shops announce a boom in the sales of inflatable Michael Portillos. The first satisfied customer leaves the newly opened Ken Dodd School of Hairdressing. And Salman Rushdie says that since the situation has eased in Tehran, he's now able to spend the odd Sunday afternoon relaxing in the park. Good night.